Hiya, Felipe.
Hey, mate.
Listen, can you just talk about this weekend, what you've got to try to do to integrate Ireland internationals back to with fellas who play in the Pro 14, and at the end of it, you have a trip to France to play Montpellier in the hardest competition in European club rugby.
Yeah, well, that's a big challenge, this week. But I'd say we've been prepared. It's frustrating we couldn't play against Scarlets, but that gave us last week. We started preparing for the game and with the guys that were here, and it's about these first few days of the week to try to get everyone on the same page, and we've just been showing them what we've been working on in these last 8 weeks, and I think they had a great experience. All the Irish lads, they had a great experience in the Irish camp, and now it's about them switching on the Leinster mode, and yeah, that's the challenge. We knew it was going to be like that. Maybe I don't know if I can't remember any time that we went straight from international rugby into a Champions Cup, but you know the challenge is there. We knew about it and we prepared the best we could.
So is there almost like additional homework for the international players to try and catch up or get up to speed of what you've been trying to, or what you've done successfully or while they've been away?
Yeah, I think they're all smart players and very, they are professional and they get used, but it's about just understanding that there's no right or wrong way of playing rugby. It's just different ways, and we are here to play our Leinster way, and definitely they've been in the last 8 weeks trying to put a game plan and a strategic plan with an Irish mindset and the way they wanted to play. And it's slightly different in certain parts of the game. So it's about for them to get up to speed on what we've been working, and for the guys down here in the Leinster camp to be ready to help and prepare the Irish lads to get into the mode, into our Leinster mode, as quickly as possible.
I would imagine so. A lot of this week will be about you trying to integrate everybody back together again. But what sort of a challenge are you expecting against Montpellier in France?
Look, going and playing in France is always a challenge by itself, and if you see Montpellier, they've got a unbelievable squad. They've got very good players. I know probably they haven't started as good as they wanted in the top 14, but having said that, they've got a really unbelievable win at the weekend. It's never easy to go, or it's not that it's never easy. It's very tough to go and beat Clermont in Clermont, and they've done that. So they will be a team with a lot of confidence, with very good players. They've got 5 international players in the French team. So we know the quality they've got, and we are preparing for one of the toughest games of the years for us, because it's always very, very tough to go and beat to get a win in France,
So 2 seasons ago, Leinster went there and beat them, outscored them by 3 tries to 2. I mean, does that sort of point to the way that you've got to take on Montpellier? You can't just, I don't want to say sit back, but you got to really attack them and take the game to them right from the very beginning.
Well, that's the way we want to play our game. We'll try to impose our style, but as I said, I know the crowd effect won't be there because it's different now, but it's in a way we have to travel. It's different, even if it's 1 hour jet lag or timetable, but you still have to adapt to that times, and it's always tough to go into France. And the way, if we can impose our style from the beginning, I think it's about trying to get our game plan and trying to impose that, and if we can do it, I think we'll be okay, but it's a big if.
Gracias.
Cheers.
Felipe, Vern Cotter's gone, and you've another Philippe in charge directing rugby. Um, do you think that they've gone up a level because of that new management?
Um, well, I don't know. They've always been a very good side, you know. Obviously, when new management comes, it takes a bit to get things going, and it looks like they've been improving in definitely the last few games. You know, they played they lost very narrowly against Bordeaux, and they beat Clermont in Clermont. So they'll definitely be confident on those two performances, and I think it's yeah, they've got a good coaching staff, you know, with Philippe as head director of rugby, and then Xavier Gavejosa and Olivier Assam and so on. So yeah, they've got a pretty good coaching staff.
Yeah, in the Autumn Nations Cup, French rugby seems to have found its style and found its flair again. Do you expect that from Montpellier? They'll be a little less structured, possibly.
Um, it's hard to compare France to Montpellier or to. I think that in French rugby, there are many teams that they have their own style, and it doesn't reflect all the time how the national team plays. You know, it is so. I would be expecting them to be, yeah, definitely they are. They're very pragmatic, and there are certain things that all French teams have. That it's a very good set piece. They are very good in, especially in their scrums, you know, and they respect too much, and well, too much. No, they respect a lot the scrummaging, and they have a big, huge scrummaging culture, and this won't be the exception. They've got good set piece and good powerful forwards, you know, and very skillful backs, and that's the typical side of a French side. And if you watch the Montpellier, all their or their playing, their players, it's definitely it's kind of that type of team, you know, where they will have very good set piece, they're very powerful up front, and very skillful in their backs with a lot of pace. So yeah, I would expect them to play a sort of game that will put them in good positions and then try to outmuscle and quick game of rugby, you know.
Do you think the South African players bring a lot to that?
They used to have a lot more South African players. I think now they've got quite a few French ones, and very good young players. They've recruited well, you know. Definitely, Reinach is a new addition, and he's South African and brings that powerful and pace all in one player. You know, he's a magnificent player. But yeah, South Africans it's the mix, you know, the French flair of the backs as well. You know, you have Rates, you have Boutier, Vincent, all international players playing there. Plus, if you take Foursan, the young 10, and many of the Martin and many of the other players, you know, they've got a lot of interesting individualities.